Today I'm gonna make fried green tomatoes. My fried green tomatoes are not coming alone. I'm gonna top them with guacamole and they're gonna share the plate with cassava chips with chimichurri. Let's start. This is a very simple recipe, very easy. I take this dish like a starter, but if you put it separately and you are having like a tapas dinner, they work perfectly by each other as a tapa, like the cassava chips with chimichurri and the green fried tomatoes with goat cheese. I didn't mention that. To start, I'm gonna first prepare the chimichurri and the guacamole and leave it apart until it's time to eat. For the chimichurri, I'm gonna be using the pestle and mortar. Yeah, this very archaic tool, but it's great for things like that. You can do it with a blender, but I think it's not the same. It's just not the same. To make the chimichurri, first of all, we're gonna roast on a pan half teaspoon of cumin seeds, a teaspoon of oregano, half teaspoon of black peppercorn, half teaspoon of paprika, and 1 cayenne pepper. Although I'm adding 2, it's gonna be a bit spicy with 2. In the meantime, while these spices are roasting on the pan, I'm going to add in the mortar 1 garlic clove and half teaspoon of salt, and I'm gonna mash it together. Then fresh parsley, just a nice amount, and again mash it. I happen to have a little bit of fresh thyme. Mash it together, mash. At this point we add all the spices that were roasting and mash all together until it's like a fine paste. Then we add 1 teaspoon of apple vinegar and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Be generous with the olive oil. And then we have it, a perfectly lovely chimichurri. Now we're gonna do the guacamole. Obviously we need 2 avocados. They have to be right. They need to be soft. They need to have the right texture, because if they are too hard, it's gonna be impossible to mash. Also, never forget, don't blend the avocados when you do guacamole. The only thing you need to do guacamole is a bowl and a fork. That's all the tool you need. Peel the avocados and place them on the bowl, but keep the seed. We're going to use the seed later on. I will let you know why we're gonna use it for. It's a little hack. And mash it with a fork. We want it like a rough mash. We don't want it very fine, just like, we want some pieces of avocado there. So this is perfect. Then we add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of lime juice or lemon juice. I happen to have lime here, sometimes I use lemon. There's not really much difference. 1 tablespoon of coriander powder, a little bit of black pepper. I will also add some fresh coriander, but I like to add the coriander powder because it adds another layer of flavor. And then, and this is my personal trick to make my guacamole, I add just like a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. We don't want really to feel like there is paprika. We want paprika to gaslight us. Like there is something, but we're not sure. That's how it works. And my real secret, a teaspoon of soy sauce. Yes, it works, trust me. Now that it's all mixed, I'm chopping half tomato and 1 spring onion, and we add it to the guacamole. I like to mash with the fork a little bit the tomato and the onion. Then they release the juices and mix all together, adding 1 more layer of flavor in this guacamole. And then the last touch, some fresh coriander, chop and add it and just mix it. And now that the guacamole is ready, remember that seed that I told you to save? Now is the time to use it. Just put it right on the middle to keep the avocado from oxidating. Otherwise, it's just gonna get brown. There it is, I have my chimichurri done, my guacamole done. Now it's time to do the cassava chips. So we have this beautiful cassava. I love it, it's delicious. If you never try cassava chips, try. If you like chips, that's like another level. We peel the cassava, then chop it in pieces, and this is quite important, remove this root that I have in the middle. Then I'm making like chunky chips. You cannot really make thin chips with cassava because it kind of melts a little bit, so they have to be chunky. Then we are going to blanch the cassava for a few minutes. I would say it takes like 5 minutes. Yeah, let's give it 5 minutes. Then we drain them and dry completely with a little bit of kitchen roll, just tapping on top. Make sure that they are quite dry before to deep fry them. Just fry them until they have this gorgeous rosé gold color. Well, they're golden. And now we move to the fried green tomatoes. This is my take on fried green tomatoes. I actually take the recipe from a Mexican restaurant I tried once in Barcelona. And these fried green tomatoes were so delightful, I had to make it myself. I don't really remember exactly the recipe. I remember they were fried with cheese, and I choose goat cheese. I think I have a thing with goat cheese. So I have these green tomatoes. There's not much secret in that. We're just gonna slice the tomatoes in thick slices and slice the goat cheese, as you can see how I'm doing, and pair it together. One sliced cheese, one sliced tomato. Then before fry them, we need to coat them with a little bit of flour, egg, and breadcrumbs. This is a bit tricky. You need to do all this process, making sure that the tomato cheese don't separate. Just do it quickly and carefully. And right away, after frying the cassava in the same oil, we're gonna fry the tomatoes because we're gonna eat them immediately after, so we want both things being hot at the same time. Fry it quickly and in a very high temperature oil. In and out, very quick. Because we don't need to actually cook them, we want them still raw. It's just dip it, get them a little bit golden outside and take them out. Now it's time to plate up. So first we place the tomatoes and the cassava chips on the side. We top the tomatoes with a little bit of guacamole. And we spread the chimichurri on the cassava. And this is it! Beautiful! Chimichurri from Argentina, guacamole from Mexico, cassava from the Caribbean, green fried tomatoes, yeah, I think that's from US. This is almost like a trip to America. Fried green tomatoes, yeah, like the movie. Do you remember that movie? It really impacted me when I was a child. I think it was the first time I saw a mainstream movie about a lesbian couple and so feminist. Oh, the 90s, great times. Anyway, I'm gonna keep uploading these simple, easy, delicious and colorful recipes. Thank you for watching. Ciao.